Maseches Bava Metzia. Maseches Bava Metzia Daf Chav Daled Amud Beis. Chav Gimel Amud Beis. In the bottom of the page is a new Mishnah. Chav Daled Amud Beis, the new Mishnah. Baruchim Haboim, and condolences to you. We want to dedicate the shir for Ilonish Mas, who? Henya Reisha Bas Elchon Yitzchok. Henya Reisha Bas Elchon Yitzchok left behind such a choshuv son. Oh. Norman Crow, Labas Tom, Shmuel Avram Ben Yudis, Yudis Bas Rivka, Pnina Chabes Gul Roch, Reuven Yaakov Ben Gold, Esther Gebrela Bat Tzorachana Bat Sima Tam Bas Novi Belis in Bava Yisrael Tzvi Yosel Ben Denis Shalom Yosef Ben Yaakov Ephraim Ben Soro, Ulelu Nishmas Menachem Ben Akiva Ben Yitzchok. Mishnah. Before we start the Mishnah, we're Baruch Hashem down to the new Mishnah in Daf Chav Daled Amud Beis. And before we start the Mishnah, I would like to just make a small introduction. It's been a long time, an entire Sukkot and more. And my what I'd like to remind you of is as follows. We're learning now about Metzias, right? We're learning about the halacha of when one finds an object in the street, what has to be done. He has to return it. He has to be machriz. Machriz meaning that he has to announce that he found it, and then the other person who lost it would give simonim. Simonim meaning is going to give identification, signs that it's all very nice. Now, there are two types there's a term that keeps appearing related to two types of ways that an object may be found. Two different states, which means sometimes a person finds an object, and an object is derech nefila. It looks as if it fell with no intention whatsoever. That's called derech nefila. Derech nefila means you found, for example, fruit that are completely scattered, splashed all over the place. It looks like he was running to the bus and it fell off his basket. It looks like some pickpocketer, slashed his backpack and the thing fell. He doesn't even know that it fell. He'll realize it eventually. He'll be miyash. Once he's miyash, I can take it if there's no siman. And if there is a siman, sometimes it could be a siman in that, Let's say lost some very specific kind of object with a siman, even though it fell, and eventually we'll be aware of the fact that it fell. I have to return it because there's a siman. Very nice. The other type is derech chinuach. Derech chinuach is not such a simple thing. Derech chinuach generally means that it looks as if it was placed there intentionally. Derech chinuach means you see, let's say, a basket of fruit, A basket is, whatever basket is, we're going to see it now. Let's say some fruit all gathered together like a heap of fruit, a pile of fruit that seemed like if they were placed there. You see a human being put it there. So that is derech chinuach, meaning the person left it there possibly on purpose. He went to the store and he just forgot about those items that were placed there. Now, one would say, and that's really discussion in the Rishonim, I'm only choosing one way here. One would say, if you left it there on purpose, eventually you'll remember and you'll come back to take it. Why do I have to, bichlal, mix in? Why do I have to take it and then announce? One reason, says Rashi, at some point before, Rashi mentioned, because maybe the wrong kind of person will come before you. You are Mr. Honest guy who was asking the rabbi, what shall I do? And I found something. But if the wrong kind of guy would find it before you, it will be stolen. And that's why you have to preempt it. You have to take it with you and announce. And if there's a siman, obviously you have to announce. If there's no siman, you don't announce. But that's, generally speaking, really just the tip of the iceberg of a concept called derech hanocha, or derech chinuach. Excuse me? No, if there's no siman, you can take it, like everything. In other words, both derech nefila can have with or without siman, and derech chinuach can have with or without siman. That's another nekuda. Just introduction. What are the questions? That I'm not saying which simonim. We discussed. Mokim can be a siman. Rabba and Rava. Minyan can be a siman. That will be discussed. Was discussed and will be discussed. I'm talking now very, very generally. Let's say there is no siman. There is no siman in derech chinuach. Then I can take it to myself. If there is a siman, let's say a specific kind of place. And yes, place is not always a siman. Where is placed not a siman? In Rishus Harabim. In a very base Rishus Harabim, he may have left it in one place and then it was removed to another place, such as a case of krichos. Let's look at the Mishnah. Let's start now the Mishnah be'ezras Hashem after such heilige Yomim Toivim, Rosh Hashanah, Kippur, Sukkot, and Pastoiro. Now we're going to use all the batteries are so charged already. You know, my daughter called me, my oldest daughter living at home called me yesterday, 11:30 at night. I was still awake. If I can take out something from the charger or earphone, because she said too much energy in the thing is not good for it. So Baruch Hashem, we're so energized now with the batteries of all the Yomim Tovim. Now we're going to use this for Torah the entire year. Says the Mishnah. What? On the other hand, they could be flat. They need recharge. Whatever your case is. Ve'elu chayv lehachriz. This is the second Mishnah. The first Mishnah gave us the introduction that some Metzias you have to announce and some you don't. The first Mishnah discussed those that you don't have to announce because there's no siman. Now we're up to the second list of things that you do have to announce if you found them. These are the things you have to announce. What are they? Motza peiros bekli. Let's say somebody found peiros, fruit. Yeah, usually means grains of wheat. Lo meshane. You found fruit inside a kli, inside the vessel. Most vessels, says Rashi, regularly a vessel has a siman. Vessel is not a big barrel which does not have a siman. It's not industrial. It's your home. Yes, something you use at home, some kind of plate or basket. This is something, usually you have your own siman, you decorated it. Even in the olden days, people used to decorate their kelim, some kind of small flower over there, or Shem Hashem they used to do sometimes, seriously. Yeah, or sometimes there's a crack in the corner. You know what your kli is, what the vessel is, and you found fruit inside of it. Oy kli k'mois shehu. But let's say you found a vessel, you found a kli empty, an empty one. You also have to return. You have to announce, because usually kelim have a siman. What's the chiddush of peiros b'kli? That is opposed to what? Peiros mefuzorin. Remember, the first Mishnah spoke about fruit that are scattered all over. Those I don't have to return because I know for sure that the person, once he realizes he lost them, there's no siman. What are you going to say? I lost apples? Which apples? All apples look alike. I mean, from the green ones, whatever. Yeah, there's no siman. But if it's inside the kli, because the kli has a siman, the fruit that inside of it are taking a ride on the wendwagon. And the fruit too, although they themselves don't have a siman, but because they are located and placed inside a kli, and the kli has a siman, mimela, you return that too. Now comes the next case. Mois bekis. Similarly, you found money. Money usually has no siman. Money is the same money all over. But if the money is inside the kiss, inside the pouch, a wallet, and the wallet has a siman. Each wallet looks different. The small sticker or something. A kiss mois shehu. Or let's say you found a pouch, an empty one by itself. You have to announce. Why? Because it has a siman. Now comes the other case. Tzibure peiros. What are tzibure peiros? Tzibur, what's a tzibur? Tzibur is like a crowd, meaning peiros that are piled together. A heap of fruit all piled together. Tzibure mois are also money that's piled together. Now that, my friends, is not so simple. Because even if the money is piled together, what's a siman? What are you going to say? I left some dollars, in a pile of coins. So what? They all look the same. That is the case of derech chinuach. Tzibure peiros and tzibure mois means that they were located there, they were placed there by someone, and we have to find out what the siman is. There is some kind of siman, and Baruch, you're up to something, which you said before. So the tzibure, meaning if the money or the fruit are piled up or heaped up, then although there's still no siman, it's just a bunch of fruit together. They're not scattered, shkoyach. They're not scattered, but they are heaped together. They're all piled up together. What is the siman there? That's going to be the discussion in the Gemara. But we leave it now as a mystery, but the Gemara will discuss it. We're continuing the Mishnah into the next page. It's still the same Mishnah. Oh, Mazel Tov. Now we're talking about coins that have a siman. The actual shape of the coins is a siman as of itself, meaning not the shape of the coin, but the structure of the pile of the coins is a siman. As the Gemara is going to say, according to one opinion, one found 3 coins, one on top of the other. Think Eiffel Tower. Yeah, I don't mean he found the euros. In other words, he found one big coin, on top of it a smaller one, and on top of it a smaller one. Yeah, think half a shekel, 10 agorot, and no, half a shekel, 10 shekels, and 10 agorot. Yeah. Yeah, the bigger, medium, and small. So that obviously didn't happen by itself, right? That's what they tell an atheist. You see something so organized, it didn't happen by itself, right? So basically, yeah, when you have a tower-shaped matbeos, one on top of the other, that is a siman by itself, because the guy would say, I would say, I found coins, and the person would say, were they shaped like the tower, like that? Yes, it's yours. That's a shlosha matbeos, and the matbeos is going to be a big discussion in the Gemara. Not three piles. It's one pile of three coins. One pile of three coins, and they're so beautifully organized that definitely there's some kind of human intelligence there, and therefore that is a good siman as of itself, without any other exterior things such as location or number. The shape itself of the matbes, the way that they're structured, is a siman as of itself. Continues the Gemara, the Mishnah. Oh, let's give you some tests if you remember something from before Sukkot. Krichos b'rshus hayochid. What's krichos b'rshus hayochid? These are bundles. These are sheaves of wheat or barley, and you found them in rshus hayochid. You found them in a private place, let's say in a field where some people walk, but it's a quiet place where people don't trample over anything and people don't kick anything around. It's more of like a quiet civil place, like a nice, European park somewhere kind of thing. Why do you have to return it there? Why? Is there a siman, or what's the story? Nobody steps on it, and as opposed to krichos b'rshus harabim. What about krichos b'rshus harabim? No. It's a shus hayochid where people are allowed to walk. Rashi says. Rashi gave an example of someone's field in the summertime. People's own fields were allowed to be walked through, so it's private yet has permission for small amount of people to walk by. It's not as busy as the busy street, but it is not owned by, no, people are meant to walk back and forth. So now, b'rshus harabim, we said mechlokes Rabba and Rove, right? B'rshus harabim, krichos b'rshus harabim, you don't have to return. Why? Because even if there is a siman, even if there is some kind of knot, and the knot has, very nice, the knot has very specific shape. This guy, this field owner, he always bundles them up in a very specific knot shaped like a, I don't know, ABC, but they're going to be ruined. Siman also to those people in the street are going to walk on it and it's going to wear off. It's not going to happen, so it's a good siman. Now the other opinion said, no, that's not a good siman. It's because of location. Rshus harabim, maybe location is a siman, right? Is not a siman, because even if you left it in one place, Rshus harabim commuters will make sure that they kick it around. Rshus hayochid, they don't kick it around. Yes. Question. Nice. The kikor shel balabais. Kikor shel balabais are kikoros made, as we say, homemade. Your homemade bread is not done by a machine cookie cutter like in a factory, as opposed to kikor shel nachtoim. The kikor shel nachtoim made by the baker, and they're all standard, they all look the same. If you found those in the street, you don't return. They all look the same. I lost angel lechem parus, cut bread of angel in a bag. Thank you. There are about 10,000 of them every day produced, I think. Thank you. But if it's your own homemade bread, that's different. Each lady makes a different kind of bread, a fresh challah, and therefore kikor shel balabais do have a siman, and that does have to be returned with the siman. The gizit sem, it's true, and that's also the mirror image. The other case of the opposite case of the first Mishnah. Next case, the gizit semer lekuchin mibeis ha'uman. In the first Mishnah, we spoke about pieces of wool, strands of wool that are taken from the Medina. Medina doesn't mean Medina; it means the countryside. They're not the raw, and they're not yet, they're not yet developed. They're not yet processed. That's the word I'm looking for. Gizit semer lekuchin mibeis ha'uman were processed. We're talking here in our Mishnah, the one that you do have to return are pieces of wool that were taken from the uman, from the artisan, from the one who dyes it, the one who cuts it. Each one has his own design for the tzemer. Even though it's not yet fabric, it's a piece of wool, but it's done differently, and that's a siman. Kadeyain v'kadeh shemen arei lo chayav lehachriz. What's kadeyain v'kadeh shemen? These are bigger kelim. These are jugs of wine or oil. You have to return, you have to announce. Why is that? If you remember the Mishnah, Gemara discussed that these Kadiyan V'Kadi Shemen, sometimes you don't have to return, sometimes you do. When is it you do have to return? Remember? Very good. If the Kadiyan V'Kadi Shemen are before they're sold, they're only by the wholesalers, then you don't have to return. Then you do have to return them. You do have to return them. Why? Because the Kadiyan and the Kadi Shemen, when they are sealed, each manufacturer, each wholesaler / manufacturer has, according to Toyses, according to Abaye, this is good review, my friends. Yeah, let's imagine yourself a nice jug with plastic, sealed all around with some kind of seal with his own insignia, with his own sign. So by the wholesaler, that's a siman, because the wholesaler makes his own siman. So wholesaler A has a different siman from wholesaler B. Very good. Masha'en can, and then you have to be chayv lahafris. Then you have to return because each one is different. At some point, one wholesaler sells to many retailers, right? He sells to many small people, to kimonai, to the makolet, to the private guy, to the private shop. So then it's not a siman anymore. Why? Because it's the same siman of the same producer, the same manufacturer. Now the same one is being sold to 20 different stores. So if it was already a loss by the store, that's not a siman. Yeah, imagine yourself in industrial area. If something is lost in industrial area of some big shops, a big company, it belongs there. Once it went out already to the small shops all over the country, it's not a siman anymore. Yeah, because they all share the same siman. Yeah, all the retailers, and that's not a siman anymore. Then you don't have to return. So this is talking at the first stage before Sichas Chaviyos. Says the Gemara. One more question, and we continue into the Gemara. Yes.
Coins were scattered all over the store. Then you're allowed to keep them.
Let's summarize the coin business. Not really summarize the Mishnah level. There are 3 stories with coins. The first Mishnah told me that if the coins are completely scattered, splashed all over the place, I don't have to return them, right? There's no siman and no derech hinuach. It's really bad, right? There's no way the person can identify, right? Now, there are 2 cases in which you do have to return the coins. One of them, if the coins are piled up and it looks as if they were placed there on purpose and were forgotten there, that's derech hinuach. But that's not a siman as of itself. It's not a siman by itself yet. We have to know why you have to return. The siman we're going to see soon. I'm very tempted. I'm not going to tell you the end of the story. There is some kind of exterior siman. There's no siman but the fact that it's piled up. Piled up money is not a siman. The reason we have to return is there is an exterior siman, which we'll see soon. The third case is interior siman, intrinsic siman, and that is when they're shaped like a tower. They themselves, regardless of the location or number or anything else, the shape of the coins themselves tells I was placed by someone and I have a good siman shaped like the Eiffel Tower. Okay, that will be discussed more. Says the Heilige Gemara. Right, says the Gemara. Something got into my eye. Says the Gemara. Time at the Motza Peres Bekli, Umais Bekis. The Gemara is medayik. Timer, the reason why you have to return whatever you have to return is you found the peros inside the vessel and the money inside the pouch, right? You found one inside the other. Ha kli ulafon of peros. What would be if you found a kli? You found a kli, a vessel. Imagine yourself a kli lying down, yeah, like that. The lefon of peros, and the fruit are right outside of it, in front of it. What would be then? Yeah, get what I'm saying? What would be then? Mashma, you don't have to return and you don't connect one to the other. What would be the following case? What would be, yeah, if you have a kli, this is, the kli, bird's eye view, and here right next to it you have peros. Yeah, what would you say? Do we say the kli has a siman? The kli has a siman over here. The kli has a nice, some kind of siman here. And the fruit that are right outside of it, do we say that the fruit fell from the kli? Because I announced the kli, and a person came, and he gave the siman in the kli. Would I also have to give him the fruit? Yes or no? Sounds like you don't. Why? Because the Mishnah said kli ubetoichoi peros. If the pairs are inside the kli, then we say they're connected. But if the pairs are outside the kli, it's meduyak. Yeah, we derive from that you don't have to return, and we say the pairs belong to one guy and the kli to another guy, so I can take the pairs. The pairs are just regular pairs mefuzalim, the regular scattered fruit. That is the understanding of the Gemara from the Mishnah. Ha kliu lefon of peiros, kisa lefon of mois. The same would apply to a pouch with money in front of it. Then I can keep the pairs to myself. It sounds like even if the person claims that there are fruit over here, wow, it's a big chiddush. The Achronim struggle with it. Even if the person said there was fruit in front of it, I don't necessarily believe him. Maybe he's just trying his luck. Because many kelim, some people lie. The lie in Beis Din also. Yeah. So let's say you have fruit and you have keli. Yeah. The kli. What about the kli? He gave a siman in the kli, and then he says there was fruit. No, not necessarily. We don't connect the fruit and the kli. The kli is the kli, and the fruit is a fruit. That is what we are assuming now is what the Mishnah is alluding to. Tanina, and also we back that by a brisa. There's a brisa that says it outright. Leho, we learned it in the brisa. The Tana Rabbanan, listen to the brisa that says it outright. Matzah kli lefon of peos. A person found a kli and fruit in front of it. Kis ulefon of mois. Kis, and in front of it, in front of the pouch, they found some money. Reilu shaloi. What shaloi? Reilu shaloi means the fruit is mine or the money is mine. It's next to a kli, and the kli was given a siman. The kli is a kli, and the fruit is a fruit. That's what we're saying right now. Only the one and only exception is miktsason bekli or miktsason al gabi karka. What would be if some of the fruit, exactly the same fruit, some of them are inside? Let's say some of the fruit. Yeah, this is an X-ray. This is like in the airport. Yeah. Some of the pears, or the very same pears, the very same guavas, I don't know, papayas, some of them are still inside, or actually usually pears means grains of wheat. Some of them are inside and some are outside. Oh, now we connect, because obviously these are leftovers of those. And then we say, some in the kli, some on the ground, same thing about money. Then chayv la'achriz. Only then you have to announce both. You have to announce both fruit and the and the kli, and you have to return the fruit, because then we obviously connect that the two are obviously visually and geographically connected, and they all belong to the kli owner. Once he gives the siman and the kli, and he says, "With this nice star over here," we give everything to him. So far, so good. So far, the Bryce and the Mishnah are saying the same. And of course, now comes trouble. Uraminu. Now, what's Raminu? What kind of question is Raminu? Stira from the same level, very good. Stira from same level source of information. In this case, it's Brisa versus Brisa. Verminu, Motza dovo she'ein boy siman, b'tzad dovo sheyesh boy siman. Let's say a person found something that has no siman, i.e. fruit, next to something that has a siman, i.e. what? The kli. And here we're not talking, we're back to the same case, yeah? Yeah, we found one next to the other. Chayav lehachiz. He has to announce everything. Just the opposite. Just the opposite. We do connect between the two, and we assume that if there's a kli over here, let's assume the mouth is towards here, the mouthpiece, and the pears are here. We assume that there are connection here. Sherlock Holmes. We do the detective work, and we assume the one came from the other, and then you have to announce on everything. Okay. With the exception is Abal Siman Benotal es Sheloi, unless the person with the Siman, the person that told me, yes, he came, he replied to the Moda, and he says, yes, I lost the vessel with this nice star over here. And he says the fruit are not mine, says Rashi. Only if he says, no, the fruit is not mine, then Zacho Bedover Shen Siman. Then the other person, the finder, can keep the fruit, because then we don't connect it, because obviously the person said it's not it. But Lamaisa, one thing is a clear stira. In one brisa, we see that we do have to return this, right? One brisa says that, let's maybe make a small chart over here. One brisa says, what about one brisa says, Yeah, regarding the payros. The payros are the one in question. Yeah. Do we return the payros to the owner of the kli or don't return it to the owner of the kli? The assumption is that the owner claims that it's his, and we don't necessarily believe him. We do or we don't. It's a stira. It's a question. One brisa says we assume that the payros came from the kli, and one of them says that we don't. So what's going on? What's the answer? By the way, this I'm not circling it to show that it's yeah. Okay, fine, fine. We're going to have four answers, four different answers to reconcile the contradiction between the brisa and the brisa. One brisa is backed by a Mishnah, but interestingly, that doesn't matter. We don't say that the other brisa is wrong so quickly, even though one brisa is endorsed by a Mishnah and one is not, but does make a difference. So what's the answer? Answer number one. We're going to have four answers: Rav Zvid, Rav Papa, and two anonymous. Omar Rav Zvid, lo kasha. It's not difficult. Lo kasha. Ha bekuva v'kitna, aha betzana v'peiri, which means like this. The assumption is, according to Rav Papa, according to Rav Zvid, excuse me, we assume that fruit in front of a kli, yeah, normally they're probably slid out of the kli. That's the assumption. The assumption is, it's too obvious. If the mouthpiece is over here and the fruit is right there, you don't have to be going to assume that it all fell through. And payros, but what are payros? Payros are grains of wheat. They're very slippery, they're very small, and it's very normal that it would all fall out. Okay. However, I'm reading again. Kuva v'kitna, the case in which you don't have to return is kuva. What's kuva v'kitna? Kitna is cotton. Now, cotton, imagine yourself, like cotton wool, yeah, cotton wool is something, I don't mean the nice little discs that today, the modern ones. The regular cotton wool is something very fluffy and can catch onto things very easily. Normally, if you have a kli and the entire cotton wool is outside and none of it was left inside, that shows that it did not come from inside, because otherwise something would have stayed inside. Normally, when you have cotton and it came from there, it wouldn't slide nicely. No, cotton does not slide nicely. Some of it, some remnants would stay inside. If the entire cotton is outside, then you don't have to return. But where's the rest? How come this is completely clean and empty from any cotton? It's not the nature of cotton. Some cotton stays inside. And therefore, the case it says don't return is talking according to him in cotton. Yeah, then you don't have to return, because we say the cotton definitely, if it's all outside, did not come from the inside, because where are the remnants? It doesn't slide perfectly. But other fruit, normal fruit, such as, again, wheat or things that normally slide all out, yeah, it all slid out and it's too close. Now, the proximity shows that it came from there. That's the answer of Rav Zvid. And therefore, in this case, if it's regular fruit, although they're all out, fruit tend to just, it fell and all things splashed out. That's it. Regular payros coming out of itzana, out of the basket. That's answer number one. Answer number two, Rav Papa. What does Rav Papa say? Rav Papa assumes just the opposite, and we're going to understand why soon. Rav Papa assumes that, both cases are tzana uperi, both the one that says to not return them and the one who says yes to return them, both talk about regular fruit, like grains that slid out completely. Below kasha, it's not difficult. If something was left inside, here, then obviously we connect. Something left inside, you have to return. Yeah, left inside, some left inside, then you have to return, because then we connect him. But the lo ishtayr b'midi. Yeah, the lo ishtayr b'midi. The other one that says you don't have to return, he assumes that if it's all out, with nothing left inside, then we assume that it did not come from the inside. Supposed to Rav Zid. That's Rav Papa. Yeah, he assumes just the opposite. He assumes that if it's all out, it's not connected. He assumes any kind of fruit would always be something would be left inside. We're going to see another factor soon, which will also explain Rav Papa better, but I'm not saying it now on purpose. So if lo ishtar b'midi, if nothing was left inside, then it's not connected. Nothing left. If nothing is left inside, nothing left, then we say nothing left inside. You don't have to return. What's wrong? Same as what? No, one is like the Mishnah, one is like the Brisa. Ah, you mean the Mishnah said that Miktzos on the Kli? Ah, you mean because we mentioned in the Brisa Miktzos on Karka. Fine, so okay. He says that's the only difference. And Chinami. Right, he's making a kimt on the first one. And Chinami. It's true. Yeah, it means the second Brisa spoke it out and the first one didn't. That's what you're saying. And Chinami. The boy Sema, a third answer. Now, why is it that he assumes some stuff would stay inside? If it's all out that it's not connected, you're going to see soon. Third, the boy Sema. Yeah, in both cases, nothing was left inside. Okay, meaning all the fruit are outside, zero fruit are inside. Although both prices have the same case in that respect, it's not difficult because there's another difference between them. That's very easy. I kept telling you that the mouthpiece is facing the fruit. In that case, the fruit came from there. What would be if it's the other way? Imagine yourself, this kli has its mouth facing the other way. The mouth is facing that way and the fruit are this way, then you don't have to return because we don't see a connection. The fruit are here, they're facing the back of the kli, not the mouth. Then you don't have to return. That's an easy answer. What? When did he? Okay, so we don't assume that. Very nice. What's the chiddush? Nice, very nice. What's your name? Aaron Cohen. Very nice. The chiddush is we don't say that it was nearby and it somehow swiveled around. We don't say that it yes fell from there and it happened to turn around somehow. No, we say that the way we found it, that's how it's assumed to always have been, and therefore, if it's the wrong way around, it's not connected, and the fruit do not belong to the owner of the kli. Next, last but not least, and that will explain to us many things we saw before. The fourth answer. Both cases of the Brisa A and Brisa B. The madri apel gabi peri. Yeah, the mouth of the kli is facing the fruit. Below kash is still not difficult. The isla ugnin letzana, or the leisla ugnin letzana. I made this nice wide open kli, but that's not so simple. Many kelim those days would have in the lips going inwards like that. Yeah, the lips would go inwards. Yeah, this way. Okay, and therefore something should have been left over here. That's what we said. It would have been caught over here. That's nice. That's right. And therefore, so let's read again. If the tzana has oignin, if the tzana, the basket has oignin, has ogen with an aleph, has like the lip over here, and now they're all out. If they're all out and nothing left, that's strange. How come nothing was left? Then we don't connect them and you don't have to return, right? There are oignin, there are, it's called ears, yeah? And here there are no ears. Here, ears, yeah? Ears meaning oznaim lekli, yeah, like ears, like you hold them. So if there are ears, you don't have to return. How come it's all empty? How come? It's all empty and you claim it's yours? Well, something should have been caught inside. But she'enken, if the kli is smooth and there are no ognin, it's just straight open, then we say the whole fell. The whole fell from the outside. The whole fell into the outside world and they all slide nicely and it's not cotton or anything. And then you have to return because they all fell from the kli. That's the last answer. That also explains to us Rav Papa. That's why Rav Papa also understood that mistame, some kelim should have been, some of the pairs should have been stayed inside, according to Rav Papa, because really there are ognim. Okay, weiter. Tziburei peres v'tziburei mois. Oh, now we're quoting the next piece of the Mishnah. Tziburei peres v'tziburei mois. What are tziburei peres v'tziburei mois? Piles, let's translate carefully. Tziburei is plural. He found piles of fruit or piles of money, of coins. Then what happens? You have to return them. And my question is, and the Gemara's hidden question is, what's a siman? Well, what's a sign? Okay, they're piled up. Shkoyach. They're not completely messy. They're not splashed all over. We know that somebody left it there. But so what? What's a siman that he has to give me? He left it. Shkoyach. Who says it's you, not the other person? Says the Gemara. The Gemara now assumes shmas mino. We can hear from here minyan havisiman, which means we had a debate before, although the debate was already reconciled. is number a siman? Let's say I lost in the street a specific number of nondescript items, but I found, let's say I'm giving Dafka 7.5 loaves of bread. Yeah, loaves of bread. The guy has Baruch Hashem, a large family, and he says, it's a very regular angel's bread, the one in the bag, the cut one, but I lost 3.5. 3.5 is a number. That's a nice non-round number. So then I'll give it back to him based on the number of items that he lost. Okay. Now, is that called a siman? We said yes. Says Toysus, now we want to bring a raya from the Mishnah also to endorse that. Siburei. There is no siman to each pile of itself. There is no siman. It's not shaped like a tower or like anything. But siburei means there's a number there. He found a few piles. He found 3 or 4 piles. Let's say that's a siman. 2 is a question. But 3 or 4 piles, I lost 3 piles. 3 piles. Oh, that's a siman. You see from our Mishnah that said siburei, that the number being plural, being a specific plural, 4 or 7 or 5, that is a siman. Oh, so let's bring a proof from the Mishnah to the opinion that we mentioned before that minyan, a number, is called a siman. Says the Gemara, no, you can't prove it. By the way, this Gemara is short and not just very sweet. This Gemara explains to you the whole mechanism of the relationship between Mishnah and Gemara. Now we're going to stop in a few minutes and explain something very, very crucial, which I was never taught in school. I'll explain it to you. Minyan havi siman. You see the number is a siman. Says the Gemara, no. Tani sibur peros. Maybe the version you have in the Mishnah is wrong. Maybe really the Mishnah doesn't read siburei, plural. Maybe it's sibur. Maybe it's 1 pile. Maybe the right version of the Mishnah, because we're not sure what the right version of the Mishnah is. Because the Gemara doesn't take the Mishnah as fait accompli, as written sacred text, as we think. The Gemara is still dealing with how to phrase the Mishnah. You know what the Gemara is? It's still the editing room of the Mishnah. That's what people don't know. And that causes a lot of mistakes in the Shkofa. Says the Gemara, I don't know if the version of the Mishnah is right. Maybe it's tzibur peros, 1 tzibur peros. So tzibur peros, there are a few of them. You don't have a few tziburim together, which means you can tell me and derive from here that minyan is a siman. No, maybe there is no minyan here. Maybe it's davening b'yichidus, no minyan. There's only 1 tzibur. If so, what's a siman? If it's only 1 tzibur, what's a siman? What did you say? Mokoim. Says the Gemara, okay, so I'll prove something else. Shmas mino mokom avi siman. Location, 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 location. If there's only 1 pile of money, of coins, and the shape is nondescript, what about the number? Only 1 pile. So what do you have to say for yourself? What do you have to say for yourself, Mr. Not loser, Mr. One who lost it? Yeah. What do you have to say? Place. I remember placing my my pile of money right outside one specific store in the Ramah, right exactly 3 meters away from the toy store next to the flower shop in the Merkaz. Okay, so you see that's a siman, because by default there is no other siman here. Must be location is a siman. Says the Gemara, playing kivyochel, a cruel game. Tnit tziburei peros. You can't prove that either. You may be right. You can't prove from the Mishnah that location is a siman, because maybe the right version is tziburei, and then the siman is what? Number. In other words, we're vacillating here between 2 girsos in the Mishnah. No talking for a minute. Yeah. In other words, if the Mishnah says tzibur, 1 tzibur, there's no number by default. What's a siman? The location, and then you'd be right. And then you could bring a raya that location is a siman, but you don't know, because we don't know what's the right version of the Mishnah. Maybe the right version of the Mishnah is tziburei, plural, and then what comes into play, what comes into the game is the number. I found 3 of them. Location does make a difference, but location is not a siman. And because we don't know what the right version is, tzibur, tziburei, mokum may be a siman, but it cannot be backed by the Mishnah. And so Zminin cannot be backed by the Mishnah. And that explains to us how the Gemara, that is an example of how the Gemara looks at the Mishnah. Many Mishnais were, although Rebbe and all of the Chachamim already edited the Mishnah, the Gemara is still dealing with Brises and Amoraim, who also learned a different version of the Mishnah. You understand? Amoraim themselves, many times it says Tani, and then it says the name of an Amora. You tell me what it means. I was never explained that in school. How can an Amora says Tani? How does that work? His name was Tani. My son is a friend called Tani. Well, what does it mean? It means what? It means that the Amora had a different version of the Mishnah that his Rebbe taught him. Yeah. It's like one of Rech who tell you, I heard from Rav Eliashiv. He's not Rav Eliashiv, but he heard from Rav Eliashiv. Same thing over here. The Gemara is dealing with different gersos of the Mishnah, each one pulling the other direction. At the end of the day, we don't have a proof. By the way, halacha is mokum is a siman, and halacha is minyan is also a siman. But we can't learn it from our Mishnah because of the unclarity, lack of clarity in our Mishnah's version of the Gilsa. We can't prove anything from here. Yes. What? To be continued. Oh, now comes the second part, the next part of the Mishnah. The actual coins themselves are positioned, are structured in such a way that as of itself is an internal essential siman, three on top of the other. By the way, I was nice to you, or maybe not nice. I already gave in the what the Gemara is going to say at the end, that they're structured like, from the wider one to the narrower one. Yeah, the Gemara doesn't yet say that. The Gemara at this stage doesn't yet know it. Okay. Omer Bitzchak Magdalo, says Rabbi Yitzchak Magdalo, listen to the name, the three matbeos are only considered the siman if they're shaped like a tower, which eventually the Gemara will say, yeah, wide, middle, and small. By the way, Yitzchak Migdalo talks about the Migdal. It's not a game of words, and it's not a funny joke. Says the Chochmas Manochadim, somebody at the end, I remember learning that, that sometimes the Moira only makes one statement in the entire Gemara, and therefore his name is called, so to speak, his alias, his nickname is called after the sugya that he taught, and that is one of them. There are a few other examples. There's one case I saw in one of the Meforshim, somebody called Rav Yitzchak, I think, Zohame, because he spoke about something Mezoham, something dirty. Not that he was Chas v'Shalom dirty, but because he learned the halacha to do with Mezoham, so that's why it's called Yitzchak Zohama. And there are a few others like that. Weiter. So it says Rabbi Yitzchak Migdalo, they're shaped like a migdal. Tanenami Hafi, a brisa to endorse what we just said, Rabbi Yitzchak. Motzamos mefuzaros, if somebody found money, coins scattered all over, they belong to the finder. No siman, not der chinuach. Take it and enjoy life. Asuin kemigdolim, if they're shaped like a migdal, like a tower, then chayav lahachriz. That's a siman muvak. That's a heck of a siman. You have to return. What does it mean that it's shaped like a migdal? Two coins are not called a siman. Two coins are not yet considered the proper structure, but three, one on top of the other, especially if we're going to say what we said at the end, that they're big, medium, and small, that already, you can't play atheist over there. It's for sure structured by someone, and that someone, if he knows, I don't tell him how it was shaped. I just say I found coins. That's it. Coins. Which coins? I don't know. And then he says it was shaped like that, then I give it to him. Frag the Gemara, it all sounds very nice, but it's not. Haguf akasha. That brisas of itself has its own internal stira b'diyukim, as I taught you many, many times. Stira b'diyukim is if you medaik one way and you medaik the other way, a third case falls between the cracks, as we're going to explain. Omarto, on one hand you said, what's mefuzoros? Scattered all over. Yeah, you go to the Merkaz, you see some, not even pile, all over the place, 10 shekels here, no, $5 over there, completely scattered all over. Then they belong to the finder. Comes the middle case. Ha mishalchefi shalchufi. Mishalchefi shalchufi means that the coins are not completely scattered, but they're not nicely shaped like a tower. They are like that. Mishalchefi shalchufi the coins are like that. That's the ground and that's the coins. They're all like supporting each other halfway. Yeah. So on one hand, they're like a train like that, half on top of the other and half on the floor. So in that case, relative to all scattered, they're relatively, in order, tidy. Yeah. So what? Dominoes, right? The domino effect. First wide line. Yes, scattered, you don't return. If it's not scattered, but like dominoes that fell, then you have to return. Aim a seifa. Now look at the seifa. Now look at the second part of the brisa. Only if they're nicely shaped, one on top of the other, like a nice tower, Burj Khalifa. Then you have to return. Yeah, relative to the migdal that you have to return, it's a siman. Relative to that, those that are not a nice tower, but they're like tak tak tak, like the dominoes, you don't have to return. You keep it. So that middle case falls between the cracks. Yeah, on one hand, it's mehumas meduyek, you do have to return. On the other hand, you don't. Answers the Gemara. Interesting answer. Tana, our brisa, kol she'en esuin kemigdolin befuzor iskar lehu, which means all the our Tana, as long as it's not like a migdal, as long as it's not nicely located one on top of the other, it's still called scattered. Which means scattered, what's called scattered? We made an assumption and we attacked the poor Brisa. We assume scattered means, scattered all over, absolute mayhem, bedlam, completely out of control. Who said? Who said? The Bryce itself gives you the standard of tidy. What's called tidy? What's called in order? A migdal. Anything that's less than migdal is not tidy. You know that parents and teenagers have two different definitions of a tidy room? Yeah. Yeah. She would pick up two objects and the room is tidy. 80%. So it's tidy. She picked up two things. It's tidy. What? It's a different standards here. So the Brisa just gives you a high standard of what? High standard of what's called not mefuzar, like a tower. Anything less than that. It's called mefuzar. That's an easy answer, much easier than any other answers we have on similar question. Continues the Gemara. The Gemara is satisfied with that teretz. Continues the Gemara. And by the way, I want to remind you, everybody, the Gemara at this point does not yet know, the Gemara does not yet know that the migdal, the tower, is shaped small, medium, large, medium, and small. The Gemara can also say that three coins of the same size, one perfectly atop of the other, is also called a migdal, right? It's also tidy. It's also in order. That's a discussion. I told you what the Gemara is going to say at the end, but keep your minds open. Okay. Amar Bichanina. Comes Rabbi Chanina with the following statement. Loi shonu, when is it that the tower-shaped structure you return? When do you return it? Loi shonu ela shel shloisha melochim, of three kings, three different currencies. That's where we understand now. Let's say you have three coins. Yeah, you have three coins, shekel, euro, and you don't have a dollar coin, right? What? Yeah, dime, yeah? What? Penny, dime, penny, coin, yeah. The kids are, you have three different, how do you say it? Denominations? Denominations. I was deliberating. Denominations. Oh, then it's called a tower. But if they all belong to the same melech, the same shape of the same king, the same, the Gemara is going to say later, let's say Nero, the Caesar, yeah, they're all the same melech, the same denomination, you don't have to return. Says Gemara Chidami, who cares about the denomination? Who cares about that? Who cares about the currency? Well, the currency trading over here. Make up your mind, says the Gemara. If they're shaped nicely, like an orderly migdal, like a tower, that looks like it was human intervention, then even if the old shekels, you know, 3 shekels, 3 coins of 10 shekels each, nicely placed one on top of the other, then why not? Of course you return it. Why? One denomination? Why not? If they're not shaped like a migdal, whatever that means, if they're not in a perfect kind of order, if the order that they're shaped up is not so orderly, then 3 kings wouldn't, why would that be any siman? Why does that make a siman? You may argue that a person wouldn't lose different coins of different malachim. But okay, maybe today it's true. I remember once before the euro, I traveled in Europe, and at the same time I went for fundraising. I went to 3 different countries, and in my pouch I had 4. I think I had 4 different types of currencies. Credit card wasn't so common, and there were many different currencies, and I had them. And so many people travel around Europe. You have many currencies in your pocket. So if I was in Holland, remember, so just because I lived in Europe then actually, no. So then if I would come and say I lost, I don't know, gulden, a franc, and a pound, people would say that's not a siman. No, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. 1 second, please. Ella, before, yeah, I'll be with you soon. Ella. Therefore, now comes the answer. Now comes the answer which you already know. Itmar, if you want to learn that statement, hachi itmar. This is how you should learn it. Lo shonu l'shel melech echad ke'ein shloisha melochim. If you have one denomination and it's like three denominations, meaning skip the parentheses. Ve'echidami. Yeah, how is that? Dasuin kemigdolim. Meaning, it could be the same currency, the same melech, the same shape, the same everything, but three different sizes. When we said three melochim, we mean to say, even though they're all shkolim, even they're all shekels, so it's even less than a siman. Three different currencies, you would say, oh, that's a siman. No, even if it's one currency of the same melech, the same shape of Queen Elizabeth, whatever, the same thing, three different coins, but they are different in a different way because they're all different sizes, then you have to return. How do the sizes work? Das Revicha, yeah, Revicha Taso, the bottom one, Revicha, the Meruvach, the big one is in the bottom. Metzia Iluye, the middle one, Metzia, Bava Metzia, the middle one is on top. Bezuta Iluye Metzia, and the smallest one is on top of the middle one. Damrinan, because we say Anuchi and Chinu. With all due respect, you can't play games of chance over here. For sure that the person intervened over here and somebody placed them that way. Aval shel melech echad. But if the all of one king, the kulukia dodininu, that's a big chiddush. If you have the same coin and the same currency and the same size, 10 shekel on top of 10 shekel on top of 10 shekel, afagav the manchia dodi, wow. Even though they're placed one on top of the other, they belong to the finder. Wow. I know it's a wow. In other words, they're all one on top of the other. They're not mishalchifi. They're boom, boom, boom. One on top of the other, but you don't have the big, medium size. They're not shaped like an Eiffel Tower. They're shaped like, I don't know, one of the Twin Towers. Yes, Eiffel Tower, which is like that, for sure, yes. But if all three are the same size, then we say, wow, 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 that you don't have to return them. Why? Eimar, we assume, we think, itramuye itrami. It just happened. Ubehadi hadadi nofel, and they fell together. Could be that they all fell together. They all fell like in a cartoon. That they all fell from his pocket. One on top of the other. They all fell. One, two, three, one on top of the other. I think the only way to understand it is because I can see your faces. I knew it's going to come. No, I'll tell you, he's laughing. I think yeah, I think back then the coins, if you ever been to a museum, I don't know how well the coins are preserved, they're not as perfectly shaped as today's coins. Today's coins, it's very hard to actually get what? It was done by hand, right? So they were minted not so well as today. So could be back then, once they're like one on top of the other, it's more like, pieces of bread, or, like you can have one on top of the other more or less together without the person locating them. Because they're not perfectly, hard and clear cut like today's coins. So I think back then coins, I think today, I'll use that, maybe I'm wrong. And by the way, we're going to see another opinion soon later. But today, I think if you have 310 shekels, one exactly on top of the other perfectly, then in Hanami, we don't say that it just happened to be. But back then, or maybe let's say today, I think now, as I'm talking to you, Heilige people, what would be, let's say you found 3 coins, one on top of the other, but they're not like that, maybe. Oh, like, something like that. Oh, so that could just, no, he was waiting in line. That may have happened itself. It's not Mishal Chetishal Chufi like domino, but it's not the Eiffel Tower. They're more or less one on top of the other. So that could just happen. That could be, they fell like that. They were somehow jostled like that. That's what Rabbi Chanina says. Paris has been extremely patient, and I want to hear you now, and then you. Yes. I'll continue to Rabbi Yochanan, which may make more sense to you, but we'll have to review Rabbi Yochanan tomorrow, because Rabbi Yochanan, according to Rashi, was very difficult for me to understand, so we'll read Rabbi Yochanan now, and tomorrow we'll review Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan Omar. Rabbi Yochanan argues on Rabbi Chanina, and he is more lenient to the side of the one who lost. Even if they're all of the same king, meaning the same size, meaning 310 shekels, one on top of the other, you do an ounce, and it's a siman. They don't have to be shaped like a migdal. Like the Eiffel Tower, they can be shaped like, Twin Tower, just like that, straight. Tower of Pisa, that's another. No, 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 no. Tower of Pisa is going to be discussed. You're laughing. A similar case to Pisa will be discussed when it's leaning and still, yeah, you're like a sulam, I was going to say. My machriz, what does he announce? Minyan. I'm not going to read Rabbi Yochanan now. No. Rabbi Yochanan is to do with number also. I'll leave Rabbi Yochanan for tomorrow. So remember, tomorrow, the end of the week just started and it's ending tomorrow. What a magical week. Yeah. So basically, tomorrow we'll start from Rabbi Yochanan Bezel Hashem. Rabbi Yochanan has a whole different take on everything, and we'll continue with Hashem to the next time. Thank you very much. Such fun to be back with you, my best friends. Thank you. Atzlocha.